What is going on, guys, and welcome to a video on my channel today. We are playing Football Manager Mobile 2020. It's only been out a few months now, as I'm sure you're aware, and we're just going to sort of set up a new save here and just play it, record it, and then I'll put a voiceover over the top before I upload and just see how we get on. Now, as you can tell probably from the thumbnail, we are doing this with a Parma. Obviously, they've had some fantastic players in the past. They've had players like Buffon, Crespo, Cannavaro, just to name a few, and they've had some problems in real life in the last few years where they've been relegated, points deducted, players on big wages that have had to leave and have had to sort of rebuild. But they've just kind of got up to the Serie A last season. And they actually managed to stay up. So here we are in the Serie A with Parma. So you can see I've been appointed here, and I'm just going to have a look through my messages. I'm actually going to take off the friendly matches because I don't want to take charge of them. I see them as a waste of time when I'm looking for transfers and looking for players to improve my squad as well as sell some. We get a bid here from Birmingham for one of our centre defensive midfielders for 2.2 million, which I accept. We've got a lot at the club, and I know I can get some other better players in as well. And he was in his 30s, so you can see here it did get accepted, and we sell Scozzarella. And we needed some money, so we've got 8 million here, but we're all 30 grand in wages down, so I'll have to play around with some of the finances to get a deal. But I do know that I need a centre back, so I'm looking here at trying to bring someone in, sort of flicking under the sort of £5 million budget just to give us a bit of room if we need to go up to the 8 mil. But I'm hoping to have some money left, so hopefully we won't have to do that. So we're looking at a Swedish guy here from Rangers. Looks like he's quite a good player, but I decided against him. Really wanted this Nico Katic from Rangers as well, but he was too much money for me, and as well as this guy from Hamburg. So I'm going to keep looking, scrolling through here, as you can probably see. Hopefully looking for someone quite young that's going to be a good partner alongside Bruno Alves for the season for going forward. We have a couple of others in the squad, but they aren't that great, so we're hoping someone that's young can develop and eventually take over Bruno Alves as being the best centre back, because he's 37 and he'll be retiring in a few years. So we're looking at Jonas David here, and we decided to put a bid in for him. We probably could have got him on loan, but I have a lot of loan players at the club already, so I wanted to bring someone in that's going to sort of develop with us. Now the bid has been made. It obviously was way lower than expectations, so we didn't carry on with that. They wanted about 10+ million, so we decided against that and decided to look at our options. Now we just feel like we need to keep pushing forward here and trying to find the right replacement for him, so it might take a while to find the right person, but I will tell you now that we do find someone who looks like a great sort of youngster for the future who will develop with us, and I will try and give him as much game time as possible and where possible. But because he's actually only 22, I don't know if he's had much experience, but we buy him from Valencia and he was in the second team, so he probably hasn't played much first team football in a while, so we'll bring him in slowly, and we'll see how he gets on. But the good thing about buying someone that's young but is also quite cheap, as we look at someone here that's 26, probably a better player to bring in at the time, but I decided against it just simply because his wages were a bit more, and so was the transfer fee. So we're going to carry on looking. We bid on a few players, but you'll obviously see in a minute the guy that we pick up. I also look at a few sort of older players as well, just to bring in some experience. Obviously we looked at that guy there that was 18, but he didn't sort of give me the confidence that he'll come in and make a difference straight away. And I think someone around, the sort of 21 to 24 mark is someone that can come in and hit the ground running and progress as well, and has time to be able to do that. So this is the guy that we actually pick up in the end. His name's Javier Jimenez. He is a centre-back from Valencia, Spanish, and he's on very low wages at the moment, so he looked like a good buy for 3.1 million. And what was crazy is the guy that we looked at, he actually came up there as being going to PSG. So if we would have got him, he could have made a bit of money in a few years' time if we'd upped our bid. But I didn't want to ruin our finances and not be able to bring anyone else in if needs to be. Wouldn't mind keeping some money left over. So we've got to set our season expectations here. We're going to go for a Euro Cup qualification in the end, just because it gives us a little bit more wage, and I feel like we can sort of get into the 5th, 6th or 7th spot, which I believe will get us and guarantee us European football. Then we're going to go in here and look at our formation and play around with a few bits just to see what sort of players we've got and who we can fit in certain positions. I tend to quite like doing wing backs with one of our wingers cutting inside. That's tend to what I kind of stick to on Foot Manager. And I tend to have sort of 3 midfielders, normally 2 CMs and a cam. But I think there isn't anyone in the club who's got that creative sort of behind the striker intelligence. So I'm going to go with sort of 3 centre midfielders for the first season at least, to try and sort of balance the squad and try and get some good results moving forward. So yeah, you can see here we've got Brugman, Barella and Kuka in the midfield, which is quite a solid midfield and should do us well for the whole season. But obviously we've got 3 centre midfielders, which means we haven't really got many players that can come in that position, so I will need to pick up a couple, which you'll see me do so, I'm sure, very soon. And then we've got the wingers here who've got a lot of pace, Gervinho and Caramo. He's on loan from Inter Milan, someone that I would like to bring in because he looks like he would be fantastic, but he's worth 20 mil, so it might be a bit too much. But then we've got a good striker here on loan from Napoli as well. We're in Roberto Iglesias, and we've also got Cornelius on the bench, who should provide us goals throughout the season. They're both target men, so that's why I wanted to get quick wingers, get the ball out wide as quick as possible, and get the ball in the box. At the end of the season, we will have to bring in a striker though, because these 2 are on loan. We do have a youngster, he's Italian, and I'll try and give him some game time when I can, but I feel at the moment he's probably not good enough. So we're just going to sort our shape out here as well. I'm normally going to go for sort of a balanced formation, so the 3 CMs. We have one of them as the ball-winning midfielder with 1 deep playmaker and 1 sort of attacking that will move forward and help chip in with some goals. I was playing around some of the tactics here and I decided to go with run at defence and work the ball into the box. I feel that's going to be best for our 1 striker formation with the wingers that we've got. So the wingers will attack, get the balls in the box for the striker who's going to be in the box as our target man, and also the attacking playmaker that hopefully make a late run into the box to get a goal for us. And then we're just going to play around here with sorting out our penalty takers, free kick takers, corner takers, and our captain. Obviously the obvious candidate is going to be our striker to take the penalties. I've then got Gervinho and Brugman as our backups. And then I'll go on to free kick takers. Gervinho's got one of the better free kicks, so we're going to put him on, and then I'm just going to take some of the others. I'm not too worried about this because it does seem to change in game quite a lot, so it's not very consistent. The captain I'm going to use for the first season is Bruno Alves. Kuka will probably take on that role later on, when likely Bruno Alves will retire. And then we can put our corner takers on here to our wingers, obviously because they got the best crossing, and a couple of our centre midfielders who've got good passing stats. And then we're going to save our tactics so we can go back to it if we ever need to, or if we tweak it and make mistakes. And we can keep saving it as we improve it, as we get a better team and work out what works best for us. So here's our fixture list. We have got Nice, Milan, Udinese and Spa as a sort of our first 4 games. So I would say at least 2 of the first 4 are winnable. So I'll be happy to come out with 6 points, 6-7 points from the first couple of games. And then you can see here that we confirmed the signing of Javi Jimenez, which is fantastic. Got our youngster in at centre back, and he is a 2.5 star with a hot prospect status there. So I'm hoping that he will develop into one of the best centre backs at the club. And he's obviously young, so he can develop. So I'll give him the number 5 shirt to give him that confidence of being a starter. Although he probably won't be at first. We'll skip through here and get into a little bit ahead of the game, but today's episode is to more show you around the club, so what we've got, who we're looking at and bringing in, and what positions we've got enough covering. And we're just looking at some of the players here to potentially put up onto the transfer market, because you can see here we are over the wage budget. So we are going to put that down and reduce our total transfer funds to about £3 million. And we've got 35k here in our wage budget. Now I saw the squad there was pretty thin, and we were playing 3 centre midfielders, and obviously we've only got sort of 3 centre backs at the club at the moment, so we need to bring in cover for these positions. So I'm looking at the free transfer market here and seeing who I can bring in. So I'm looking at Alman Abdi, who's played for Udinese in the past, and Watford and Sheffield Wednesday, for those that would know and watch their championship football. I'm going to try and bring him in for quite cheap, so hopefully, obviously it's a free transfer, but try and get in for a good salary. I managed to get one accepted there for about 10k, which I'm very happy with, because he's 32, so he is ageing, but he's someone that can sort of fill in the gaps and play in other positions as well. Then we keep scrolling along here, and we're going to look at some other players who we think could potentially come in and make a difference. I then see Christoph Andersen first, and I decided against it because he's 33, and I'm not too sure how he'll fit in the squad. And then I see Alfie Ambrose, who's the ex-Celtic centre-back, and I decided it's a good decision to make and bring him in for 9.5k there. So under 10k again for an experienced centre-back who, again, is probably going to be 3rd or 4th choice, but he will for sure be someone that I will play some part in our season, especially with our young centre-backs who are kind of inexperienced. So against the bigger teams it may be good to play Alfie Ambrose. We then look at another centre mid coming up soon here, which you'll see. I bring in him as well because I decided that he's got the SerieA experience, who will be able to make a good sort of base for the squad, especially in the midfield positions. He's very well rounded. At 28 years old, he's still got a lot to offer. He's played for Empoli and Verona in the last few years. So I again try and get him in under 10k, and that does get accepted. So we've got 3 good players there, all with experience. And I believe that will massively make a difference to our squad this year, because the squad is very thin and we will get injuries throughout, so we need to make sure we have replacements, especially when we're playing 3 centre midfielders. So bringing in 2 here will massively help. I believe Brucha will be pushing for a starting place as well. I think Abdi will be more a sort of a fringe player, but we'll see how that goes. He might prove me wrong and play a lot better than expected. See here the loan players get accepted, and Ambrose gets his work permit accepted as well, so I'm very happy to bring them 3 players in. At the start of this sort of save, we're going to have to be looking at bringing in these types of players to develop the squad over time, and hopefully pick up the players while they're young and improve them and develop players. I don't think we'll have the funds at the moment until we start winning or getting high finishes in the league to bring in superstars. Obviously we're a developing team that's only come up last season, so we've got to put that in mind, even though I have aimed for sort of top 6 finish. I'm just looking for our squad here and looking at players that we can bring. So we put on the transfer list and sell. We have got 3 right backs at the club. I'm unsure who I'm going to sell yet, but I'm going to sell one of them, I believe. We have got Darmian, who's going to be our starting right back, and there's 2 there that aren't as good as him, so we probably try and bring some fonts in for one of the others too. So here, looking at some of the positives at the club, we have a calm group of players. The morale is good. We have some physical, strong players, and we have great right back depth, which I just mentioned. But obviously, some of the negatives, we do have a lack of ambition in the squad, which is probably down to a lot of our players being older, so they have less aspirations. We are lacking leadership, so I will try to bring some in. I believe I have just done so though for the players that I have, and our team could do an injection of pace. The pace is expensive, so we will have to look at that over time. But we have got two very quick wingers. We have a youngster that's on loan from Atalanta, and he will play his part. And I believe we also have another winger who I don't believe he's very quick, but he's quick enough to play on the wing and get some crosses in. I will mention his name when I see it. Just at the moment, it's very new to me to say, so I haven't learned every player's name, but I do know a few good players here. Apologies for the notification there. So yeah, we're just looking at the final, before we come to the end of this video, just looking at some of the club stats. Obviously, oldest player is Bruno Alves. Total caps in the squad is 352. Nationalities represented is 12, so we will have a lot of players out in international duty, which is fine. We'll just have to manage that as time goes by. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode and you want to see more from me, please do leave a like and please do subscribe. I do really appreciate it, and I will produce more videos like this one.